besties, hello friends. Welcome to my channel. My name is Rachel and welcome to Courageous Rach. Let's get this vlog started. So, as you can tell from the title, something very tragic happened to me. It'll be 3 years this coming May. In May of 2019, I lost my husband, my best friend, Amir, to stage 4 cancer. It was a very tragic time. I've known Amir for, at the time that he passed, we had known each other for 8.5 years. We had been married for 3.5 years. And how do you even explain, like, losing someone who you committed to loving your whole life? So there was so much that happened. Just to give the short version, found out Amir had stage 4 cancer 1 year after being married. So when we found out, it was already end stage, but we were very prayerful, and Amir was very strong and sure in his fight that he would get through it. He definitely fought hard. He was positive. He was amazing. He went through chemo. In the end, he ended up succumbing to complications that end-stage cancer brings. And when that happened, my whole world changed instantly, in a second. I went from being a wife, living my life, being thrust into widowhood in a blink of an eye. And when I think about myself then, and I think about myself now, 2.5 years rolling into 3 years later, I will say that I never thought that I would be here. I never thought that what I feel now, what I know now, was even possible. So what better way to introduce my blog, my vlog of Courageous Rach, than to discuss one of the most courageous things I've ever had to undertake and overcome, which was the loss of my husband. There are 5 things that I learned after losing my husband, and I hope that through this, someone who is, and it's not just it doesn't have to do with grief. We're in very uncertain times, pandemics. People are being faced with their emotions. People have lost people. We've lost loved ones. We've lost co-workers. We've lost friends. And so because of that, I think that these 5 things that I've learned can be of use to someone, especially as we as a world, a global community, go through this pandemic and all that it brings. So without further ado, without a lot of talking, bear with me, first vlog, let's get started. So 5 things I've learned after losing my husband. The first thing, and I think when we go through anything, this is very important, that it's okay to not be okay. I know we live in a time of social media where, people, on social media, you see people, giving you inspirational quotes, and this is what you should do, and go after your purpose, and, if you get knocked down, get back up, and don't let the bad times get you down. And those are all very true, but I think that we don't talk about reality of going through hard times, where there is a process to get to okay. There's a process to get to overcoming. And in that process, it's the not okay stage, where you are just not okay. Literally the night after he passed, that first night without him physically being here, I just was in shock, like an out-of-body experience. I would always tell people at the time, my loved ones and family and friends, that I felt like a stranger in my own life. Like, I was there and I was going through the motions, but that's all I was doing. My mind, my heart, my spirit was suspended somewhere else in the ether that I can't even explain. And I was not okay. I didn't know who I was. I went in the blink of an eye from being a wife, a stepmom, having a life partner, having goals with this person. And for all my married people or people who are in committed relationships, you know that when you have a partner, you somehow become one, and your goals and your dreams, yes, you have your own personal things that you want to work on, but for the most part, your thoughts, your goals, your dreams are all connected with this person. So you don't really make decisions that don't include them. So pretty much everything that I had known was pretty much done here, and now it was just me, and I just wasn't okay. I was sad, I was hurt, I was lost, I couldn't understand why. It was a lot of why me, why us, why him, why God. I mean, I just was not okay, and I didn't like being in that place, but looking back, I'm glad that I allowed myself to not be okay. I didn't try to force myself to be happy when I wasn't. I didn't try to force myself to do things that I wasn't ready to do, right? So there's a healthy line when we go through major things of us allowing ourselves to live in it for a moment, but you don't want to stay there, right? You want to be able to acknowledge it and be like, you know what, I'm not okay. I'm hurt. I didn't get the job. I lost that loved one. I didn't achieve what I was going out to achieve, and accepting the suck that it's just not okay, and you're not going to be okay for some time. But in understanding that it's okay for you not to be okay, I think that there is growth and there is acknowledgement of what we're going through. And I think personally, we always sometimes look for others to validate that, oh wow, you know, we want the empathy or the sympathy from others that, look, I'm going through something, look at me, look at me. But sometimes the only empathy and sympathy that we need is from ourselves to say, hey, you know what, sis, you are not okay. And that's okay. What do we need to do to get to okay? The next thing that I learned, and excuse me because I'm reading from my notes, is people suck and it's not their fault. I'm going to say that again. People suck and it's not their faults. It really did surprise me how inconsiderate people could be with the things that they say when someone is going through a tough time. In my case, being a widow and losing my husband, it was the statements for me that people would say that sometimes when I think about the early stages of grief and what are some of the hard parts, I would have to say honestly, dealing with others and the things that they say and do is probably the hardest. Next to losing the person and just dealing with those emotions of loss, the next thing is being in this grieving state and still having to interact with the rest of the world. And the things that people would say to me would really just, I had to really lean on my trust in the Lord and my prayers to be able to not internalize these things, as well as to be able to overcome them. So some of the statements that I would hear people say are, he's in a better place. Please, if you don't take anything away from this video, I understand that people mean well, and especially our older Black community. Okay. We are very prayerful people, and yes, I believe in God, and I believe that after we leave this earth, there is a heaven and there is a place that we have with the Lord, and we return to in our spirit form to God. I do believe that. But when you lose someone special, the last thing you want to hear is that he's in a better place. That is not a comfort, because that person, even if they are spiritual like I am, yes, you're happy that the Lord has your loved one after they leave this earth, but you are devastated that they are no longer here. So if you are trying to support someone who's grieving, please, they know. That's not a statement they need. Please, 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 just save it, because they want that person here for them. They want them there physically. They're missing their presence. They're missing them. So that statement is just like nails on a chalkboard. Don't do it. Leave it out. Just pat them on the back and sit with them. I think that we need to, as a community, as a world, be comfortable with, like I said, my first tip, it's okay with not being okay. Be comfortable that the person that you love who's grieving, or this person that you know who's grieving, that they're not okay, and that's okay. And trust me, outside of resurrecting the dead, there is nothing you're really gonna do that's gonna fix it. It's gonna take time and that person working through their emotions to get on the other side. Yes, you can be there for them, you can do nice things for them, but there is nothing really you're going to say or do in those moments that is going to fix them in their grief or what they're going through, their depression. Okay, so please, let's leave some of these statements. Another thing, you are young, you will find someone else after losing your husband or your wife or spouse. This is a different type of grief. I think there are levels to grief, not levels in the sense of one is higher than the other. I just think that losing a spouse is one thing, losing a parent is another thing, losing a child is another thing, losing a sibling is one thing, a aunt, a cousin, so on and so forth, a friend. They all come with their own challenges. They're all their own spaces of the grief realm. When you lose a spouse, you lose the other half of you, right? Because marriage is two becoming one, right? And like I said before, when you get married and you start to live your life, all of your decisions are made with this person or made with this person in your mind as you make decisions. Like when I was Amir's wife and we were living together and loving together and doing those things, as far as like what I would get from the grocery store, what I'm gonna eat, if I eat now, am I gonna be able to cook later, or are we gonna go out to eat? Like, I mean, simple things are tied up with this person. So when they are gone, that's it. The last thing that someone who lost their spouse or their boyfriend or girlfriend or partner, whatever term you want to go with, their love interest, whatever, the last thing that they want to hear is that, oh, there's time for someone else, or, oh, you're young. I could not believe that someone would tell me that, oh, you're young, you'll love again, and thought that that was okay of a statement to make to help me with my grief. Because it wasn't. Because, yes, life does go on, but I lost my mate. I'm not thinking about the next man yet, or if he's gonna come, or I'm not even there. So you're basically saying to that person, oh, your spouse is gone, but someone will come and replace them. Because guess what? No matter who I meet, if I meet someone married again, no matter what happens, they will never be Amir. They will never be him. They will never have his mannerisms, the way he is. They won't say the things that he said. They won't love me the way that he loved me. They won't be him. They won't feel like him. So for you, you're basically telling them that that person who they lost, who was so important, who lived a life and had thoughts and emotions and feelings, could be replaced. Think about it. We have to think about the things that we say. Like, I think that people want to fix so bad that they don't realize in them wanting to fix, they actually break more. They break more. They add more hurt, more grief, more problems. So please, don't tell someone who's lost a mate or partner that they'll love again, because it's not it, guys. It's just not it. It's just not it. The next thing I would hear a lot of, and I would hate to hear this, and yes, it was true, but he's no longer suffering. Yeah, he's no longer suffering because he's no longer here. And no, I didn't. My husband was in a lot of pain and he was going through a lot. Yes. And no, I didn't want him to suffer, but our goal, his goal, as well as mine, when we said we wanted the suffering to end and we were praying, was for there to be healing here in the physical realm, and that he would heal from this and he would overcome it, and he could continue and we could continue to live our life together. So yes, he's no longer suffering, but he's also no longer here. So that's just not a statement, especially if someone lost someone to illness or sickness, that you don't, please guys, I mean, it's not needed. Like, I know I've been in the place when you see someone grieving and they're going through something tragic where it's like, what do you say? Like, you physically want to do something, and those are all commendable thoughts and feelings and wants, but there is nothing you can do but just be a shoulder to lean on, be a shoulder to cry on, be a listening ear. Let me tell you, the very best support that I received while grieving my husband was from those who would just allow me to be. Whether it's when I called them, they would just listen, and they would just, if I wanted to talk about them, they would talk about them. They wouldn't bring it up to me if I called on the phone and we get to talking and I'm not talking about, a mirror grief. They would just let the conversation flow. They would let me lead it. They wouldn't be like, well, how are you doing? And bring up something about a mirror. And it's like, man, I'm finally having a day where I'm kind of functioning and you want to bring me back to my grief. Okay. So the people who just kind of listen, who kind of just let me be, who kind of organically just provided support and read the room and the emotions that I was in, were the most valuable. There's nothing you can say. So if you're here and you're supporting someone who's grieving, just know, don't be a person that sucks. Just let that person show you or lead you or pick up the cues of what that person needs. Don't try to say or do anything like that's gonna try to like fix it, because 9 times out of 10 you're gonna make it worse. Just be. Just let it happen naturally, okay? All right. My third takeaway from losing my husband, number three. Take each day moment by moment. So, like I said earlier, when my husband died, I was just like in a total state of shock, right? I didn't know. I just didn't know. I didn't know what to do with myself. I didn't know what to want anymore. I didn't have any goals. I didn't have any like aspirations. I like literally was fighting day by day to do normal things, which was get up, shower, brush my teeth, wash my face, do my hair, the little, I have a taper cut, so go get my hair cut, like staying present, like everyday things that we do naturally when we're not going through a lot seem like impossible mountains to climb when you are grieving or going through a hard time, or if you're in a depressed state. Those things can be next to near impossible. Like the most glamorous thing to me at the time to do would be like to literally either A, lock myself in my room, lay in the bed and just bawl, sleep when I could, because there were a lot of sleepless nights and hard moments, and just kind of like take a break from life, like not engage. And so one of the things that I learned is take each day moment by moment. Don't think about 2 hours ahead. Don't think about 2 days ahead. Don't think about a week ahead. Think about, really, when you lose someone, what you learn is we really only have this moment. Like, yes, it's good for you to have goals and aspirations, and those are all things that are good because they help us set the course and guide ourselves towards those things, and they help us to put in place habits and routines that will help us get to our ultimate goal. But when you're going through something tough and you are in shock or in a depressed state, the best thing to do is just to take life moment by moment and realize that all we truly have, all that is truly given to us, is this moment. Think about it. I could finish taping this video and walk out my door, and that may be the last time I come back. And I'm not saying that to scare anyone or to induce fear or to increase someone's anxiety, but what I'm saying is that if you think about life, truly the only thing given to us is the moment. And so because of that, guess what? That's all you need to worry about when you're trying to get through something hard. So when my husband passed away, and even up until now, sometimes when I have moments, because grief comes in waves, and yes, as time goes in between the moment he passed away and we get more time in between, it becomes easier because it becomes the norm. I'm becoming normalized to not have him in my life physically every day. And so because of that, it naturally begins to get easier to cope with. But there are times, even still now, rolling into year 3 without my husband, take the moments by moments. I'm not feeling good right now, so what can I do to get through these moments? If I'm crying, when I would have my moments at night, thank God for my mother, and I would be like literally bawling my eyes out. I could call my mom at any moment, anytime. But the most, and she would answer the phone and she would cry with me and pray with me and talk with me, and I would get through that moment. And then I would be able to come on the other side, which would help me to keep moving forward. So if you sometimes just don't look at the whole elephant, I know this is cliche, you can't eat the whole elephant, right? But you can if you take it piece by piece. And so if you just deal with the moments and what you feel and what you're going through right now, it will help you to continue to take those steps forward to get to your ultimate goal, which when it comes to grief, it should be reconciling that you lost this person, healing from the initial hurt that losing someone causes, and finding a way to cope with this loss so that you can still move forward to live a productive life. So next thing that I learned, number four, we're leading into number 4, is it's okay to smile again. I think when we go through hard times, especially when we lose someone that we love, I felt like I would never smile again. I would never be happy again. People who know me know that I am a person who smiles. I like to joke. I like to kid. I can be very serious, silly, but after losing my husband, rightfully so, like I lost my smile. Like I lost it. And there would be moments where I wasn't like totally just like, Eeyore, but there would be moments where I felt like the true joy that I used to feel when my husband was still here, I would never feel that joy again. Like I would never be able to get up in the morning and look forward to the day, right? But as time went on and as I thought about my husband, and the beauty in Amir was a very positive person, even when he was on his deathbed, I believe. Like he literally still exuded a positivity and a faith, and he was a beautiful person. Let me put it that way. He was a very beautiful person, and he remained positive all the way up until the very end. And so when I would think about him and how he was able to continue to keep his joy, it helped me to understand that it was okay for me to refine mine, because I know that he would have wanted me to continue to live. We talked about it when we found out he had cancer. We had a lot of conversations about what would happen if something happened to him, and I'm glad in hindsight that we had those conversations because they truly helped me. But he would want me to be positive. He would want me to smile again. And so in knowing that, I did my best to continue to try to find reasons to smile and to push myself and to be okay with having happy moments, because I think we kind of tell ourselves, well, I lost someone and I shouldn't be happy because I lost someone. No, you can still be happy. You deserve to be happy. That loved person, that loved one who you lost will want you to be happy. So it's okay to smile. Smile and cherish those moments and collect as many of them as you can as you go through your grieving process. All right, so the very last thing that I learned from losing my husband, number 5, which is the biggest one, is that, and I think I saved it for last for a reason, is that life goes on and so will you. And no matter what, I am a person who fully believes in Jesus Christ and God, that Jesus Christ died for my sins. And I believe that I've gotten to this place. I know that I'm here where I am now with this smile, with all that I've been through, with this ability to continue to move forward because of my faith in God and knowing that I went through something horrific. It was horrible. I mean, losing my husband was a defining moment. It was one of the lowest points of my life thus far, and I'm praying that I don't go through nearly, I don't know, life is funny. It was a very tough hard time in my life, and God was with me, and I continue to keep my faith. I continue to pray. Those nights, I had my mom, but sometimes my mom needed to sleep, right? And through it all, it was through my belief in Jesus Christ that he was going to be there with me, that he was going to guide me. And he was always there when there wasn't a friend to talk to, when my parents were doing whatever they were doing, when I was at my lowest, loneliest moments. My belief in God is what saw me through, able to realize that life goes on, and so will you. And through my belief, if you believe that, and if you, I don't know what higher power you believe in, or if you believe in God, my suggestion would be the Lord. That's just me. I choose Jesus. I choose the Lord all the time. This is that. So in this channel, vlog, whatever you want to call it, I will continuously reference my faith in God, because it is my faith that has sustained me and gotten me here. But I believe that you are here for a purpose. If you believe that there are no mistakes, if you believe that each moment that you go through and you overcome is a defining moment, and it gives you a gift to give back, because we are here to live for God. We are not here to live for ourselves. And I'm hoping even in this video that I'm creating, God put this in my heart to create, because even if it's only one person who sees this video and they're able to say, hey, I can do this. I can take life moment by moment. I can accept it's okay to not be okay. I can understand that I'm not to put my trust in people, because people sometimes will let us down and we cannot put our trust there. I can, smile again, and I won't live in these hard moments forever. And through it all, God will be with me and life will continue to move forward. Then I've done what I've set out to do with this video. So there you have it. That is my first video. I hope that someone was able to find some inspiration from this. Leave in the comments below if you have any tips for anyone who's going through grief or a hard time. I think we all can learn from each other in this time. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.